Hello and welcome to It's a Jungle. I'm Susan and I just had an incredible conversation with Dr. Vonda Wright, the orthopedic surgeon who's revolutionizing how we think about aging. Her new book, Unbreakable, has just launched, and this woman practices what she preaches. She's deadlifting, jumping off boxes, and living midlife badassery whilst helping us understand that aging doesn't mean declining. Dr. Wright completely dismantled the myth that we're destined to go from vitality to frailty. You'll hear about the time bombs of aging and how to build shields against them, why muscle is nature's Spanx, and her powerful message about why you are worth the daily investment in your health. This conversation may change how you think about your future. What does Unbreakable mean for women today?
Unbreakable is both a physical and mental resilience that allows us into the foreseeable future to do what we want when we want it. I am literally trying at 97, which is my target age, just because I want to bug the hell out of my children. Anything beyond that is bonus, but I literally want to be able to do what I want. Do I want to go for a walk? Do I want to go on a cruise? Do I want to travel? Do I want to walk a mile to the village coffee shop and bug the baristas? Do I want to raise chickens and a little donkey? Those are really, do I want to climb something, right? That will take now 40 years from 97 a daily investment in my health. But not only that, am I investing in my mindset such that I don't believe that 20 was the best time in my life? Actually, now are some of the best times in our lives because I believe that our mind will do what we tell it. So if I tell it, oh, I'm aging, I'm so decrepit, that is the attitude that I'm going to look forward with. But if I tell it, we have choices to make. We have investments to make. You can be as smart and as authentic as you've ever been. That is the framework. So yes, I would like to stay out of a nursing home because God knows 2/3 of all nursing home residents are women. And I don't actually want to be their neighbor. But I want more than that. I want an aspirational future where I get to do whatever I want when I want to do it, for as long as I want to do it.
Incredible. So you have talked about the time bombs of aging that most women don't see coming. What are they?
You know what? There is a natural aging process. And one of the things I'm trying to do is pivot the conversation for women. When men talk about living longer in the national pop culture, it's longevity and vibrance and being virile. But for women, everything is pointed towards anti-aging as if aging is a disease. Aging is the most natural thing we do. But what I do think we have to pivot the conversation around is let's call it longevity. Women are winning the longevity race anyway. We're living, depending on which country you live in, 5 to 7 years longer than men. But what we're not doing is living as well. And so that's the real pivot to Unbreakable, and recognizing that there are time bombs of aging. There are our stem cells become less well functioning. Our genes express themselves less well. Our mitochondria, which are the powerhouse organelles in our bodies, function less well. Our gut microbiome changes and our absorption changes. But here's the deal. You will have a natural decline with the hallmarks or time bombs of aging, but you can step in front of that, and using lifestyle and hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone really pivot the trajectory of your future. That's what it means. Time bombs are a normal part of aging, but we are building shields so that those don't disrupt us.
So what do you think then is the ballpark split between, like, say, genes versus lifestyle for muscle, bone, mobility after 40?
For many years, many of us have been saying, oh, aging is only 30% genetics and 70% lifestyle. But recently, new data have come out. It's probably more than 90% lifestyle because you get a set of genes, but the epigenetic changes, meaning how those genes are expressed, is mostly dependent on our activities, our nutrition, our stress, our recovery, probably even our relationships. And so what that does, it's not a burden, it's a hope. It's a hope that we are not destined to go from vitality to frailty. And frankly, I'm a little tired of people just accepting, oh, I'm getting old. Oh, I'm going to be frail. Not that I'm fighting against aging. Actually, I love aging. I'm aging in the way I want to age. But in order not to just give up and slide down a slippery slope, we have some agency. We have some ability to choose, don't we?
I love this. And this is partly why I love your work. I have been lucky enough to have a mum who's now in her 80s, and she is just moved every day. Like, people, you can't believe she was a bit older when she had me. So people, I think they still think she's probably 70. She's in her Pilates classes with all the younger ladies and she loves it. And but she has, that's what I see with you, movement. She has just moved every day. She's out there, I would say, at least 2 hours a day moving. So I can see as well that this is possible once you keep at it, like every day, that daily investment. But can I ask you, because there's been so much news recently around weight loss, particularly because of all the GLP-1s, what's the difference between weight loss and body recomposition?
Oh, I love that you asked me this. So we're conditioned to get information about our body from a scale. That doesn't tell us much. It doesn't tell us what our potential metabolism is. It doesn't tell us what we're made of. I don't know if you ever heard this when you were a little girl, but there was this thing when I was growing up. What are little boys made of? Sticks and stones and, I don't know, puppy dog tails, all those things. Girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice. Sugar and spice is going to kill us. So when we talk about what we're made of, the scale will tell us how many pounds or stones or whatever measurement we're using, right? But it won't tell us what we're made of. Body composition, meaning how much muscle do we have? Why do we care? Muscle is metabolically active. It not only gives us strength and makes us look good under clothes, but it is where some of our energy is processed. It's critical. Part of our body composition is bone, right? 15% of our weight on a scale is bone, right? And then it tells us how much fat we have. Fat is not just inconveniently located in places, but it is also a metabolic organ and can be noxious. So body composition tells us what we're made of. And if we're only looking at our weight and losing air quote weight, then we could be losing muscle as we're losing pounds on the scale, right? And so I would rather people pay attention not to strictly pounds, but percentage body fat, pounds of muscle mass, etc., to really understand what we're doing when we exercise or calorie restrict or any of the other things we're trying to do.
Yeah, thank you. Because I feel like that's such a mental shift for a lot of us. I think we've grown up with being like looking at the scales. So yes, that's a definite mental shift. Now, you have called muscles nature's Spanx. So, which is maybe, do you want to explain that? I mean, I guess.
Yeah, when we have muscle mass, we are technically lean, like a lean flank steak, right? Not with a lot of fatty rind. Why do women wear Spanx? Now, I love Sarah Blakely. I'm not trying to get women to not buy Spanx, but we wear Spanx to look toned, to not have big rolls under our clothes, to look lean. Well, you can wear Spanx or you can build muscle mass, because within a month of lifting weights consistently, You may not see a change on the scale, which we just talked about, but your clothes will fit differently because you will be lean,
And it'll be a
right?
lot more comfortable.
More comfortable. Yeah, because girdles, let's call them what they are. Girdles are constricting, right? So if we have a choice, let's build some muscle mass.
Yes, here's to that. So you recommend something called, I think it was walk, sprint, lift, learn. What would be the kind of starter plan on that?
Well, you know what? Actually, I'll put learn first because I think we cannot face the future and build an unbreakable future unless we understand what's going on, right? So, what is perimenopause? How early does that start? When is the critical decade? I call the critical decade for people to set health and wellness standards, if you're not doing it already, 35 to 45, when we still have, most of us still have our normal hormones being produced. So learn first. Let's find out what's going on. Let's see what's going to happen in the future so we can step in front of it. Lifting, actually, there's an acronym I use in Unbreakable that talks about how I prescribe exercise, and lifting is one of those things. So it's called Face Your Future. So F is flexibility and joint range of motion. We don't want to get tight and stiff and shuffling, right? A is aerobic training. Our hearts are critical. We have to keep fitness in our hearts. I prescribe it differently now than I did historically 25 years ago. And I prescribe brisk walking or base training and sprinting, heart rate sprinting, not necessarily on a track. C is carrying a load, which is lifting, right? So you can achieve good things with all forms of lifting, whether it's lifting for endurance, which is really light weights many, many times, or whether you're lifting for hypertrophy, which is the goal is moderate repetitions to build big muscles. But what I am teaching people to do in midlife and beyond is to lift for strength and power. So it's heavier weights, fewer reps, because what's the point? The point is to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and only ask for help if you want to ask for help, not because you're dependent and have lost your independence, right? So let's see, learn, lift. What was the other two that I always say?
You have sprint, so sprint and walk.
Yeah, sprinting for cardiac.
Yeah. And then brisk walking. But I have also heard you talking about zone 2.
So for many people, it's zone 2. You can have short sentence conversations, but you can't sing. Okay. We're not singing. We're just having little conversations. And on one side, so there's a technical zone 2, and then there's the practical zone 2.
Okay. So, and how much zone 2 do you think women should do weekly?
Well, according to the scientists that our lab is based on, 3 hours a week, broken up into 45-minute sessions. So that's 4-ish sessions a week, 45-minute zone 2. And remember, it's a heart rate. It's not an apparatus. So you could do it on anything. You could use any apparatus or the road if you want.
Okay, fantastic. And can I ask you if there were 3 strength moves that deliver the biggest health span return? What would they be?
3 lifting moves?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I teach people that the basis of our lifting are compound lifts. Not strictly powerlifting as competitors go, but the compound lifts that use more than one body part across more than one joint. So for upper body, bench press, right? Pressing up. Okay. And then honestly, some kind of pull. Therefore, push, pull with your upper body, and then push, pull with your lower body, which means some kind of squats and some kinds of deadlifts.
So how can beginners safely, I think you've used, it's the phrase, pound the bones without getting injured. Bash the bones. Okay, yeah. How can beginners kind of do that without getting injured?
Why do you think they're going to get injured?
Yeah.
Why is that so prevalent in people's minds? Like, are we fragile?
Thank you. Like, that is such a good question because I don't know why I'm thinking that, but that's what I'm thinking. Oh, that if I come down too hard at my knees, am I going to injure my knee? Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think people underestimate themselves. Do people get injured? Yes. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. That's, frankly, people come to my office because they're injured. It usually has a lot more to do with trauma and poor motion patterns than simple movements like jumping, right? So, when I say bashing your bones, it doesn't take jumping from a 24-inch box like people see me do. It just happens that that is the level that I work out at. But the data show that if you jump down from an 8-inch step, which everybody does every day, there are 17 steps in a staircase. And if you just stand on the last one and land a little harder, that's going to have a good impact on your bones. Things as simple as jumping jacks won't have as much impact as that, but it doesn't have to be crazy jumping from a height. I demonstrate those things because I'm actually just demonstrating my own workouts, right? Everybody starts at a different place. So, what the key takeaway from this question is that bones are built from impact. Our bones know they need to build more of themselves when they perceive impact, not if we're shuffling along, not if we're sitting in a chair, not if we're sedentary, but when we feel the jar. So that biomechanical stress is converted to the biochemical signal that says, hey, osteoblasts, lay down more bone, right? So we're actually telling ourselves what to do when we jump around. Or you know what? I don't know if you saw this a few weeks ago. I reintroduced the childhood game of hopscotch
Yes, I did.
on the internet, right? Because why not draw your grid of 10 squares and jump around side to side and backward and have a little fun with it, right? All the while building better bone.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I don't know when it was you said it, but you had said about just even jumping was like 20 jumps a day or 20. I
Yeah.
do that now religiously every day because I
Good.
just think even if that's the only jumping or pounding I get in.
Yeah.
You've spoken about bones as an endocrine organ
Hmm.
we can train. How do
Yeah.
bones act as an endocrine organ we can
So,
train?
our general thought of bones is not to think of bones at all, actually, until you break one, right? They're the biggest ignored body part you'll ever have, unless you break one, right? Because we think of bones as just structural. They're the I beams for holding up our muscle. But the reality is, without bone, muscle is just a heaping glob of metabolic tissue. There's nothing beautiful about it until you hook it to a bone. And then it looks amazing. So there's that. But bones are the storehouses of our bodies. They store all of our minerals that our body then uses when it needs. In our pelvis and long bone is where we make our blood cells. Did you know that? No, I mean, we make blood cells that for our immune system in our pelvis and our long bones. But bones are endocrine organs, meaning that they're not silent at all. They are constantly communicating with their environment from our brains to our pancreas to our muscles. Bones bones are involved with even the manufacture of testosterone. Bones are involved with, and they do that by one of the hormones it produces is called osteocalcin that goes and communicates with all these other tissues. Bone communicates with fat and the gut. Bone also produces another hormone, LCN2, that is critical in telling you that you've eaten enough. Isn't that interesting? Bone is like the conductor. I mean, muscle's doing its thing, but bone is like telling everybody what to do, and we ignore it. It's as if it doesn't even exist. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. The more I listen to you, yeah, the more I'm like, this is crazy that we don't.
Bone is
Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah, it is. So is there like, if someone feels like it's too late, I'm 50, 60, 70, whatever somebody is thinking at that age, what's the what now that you would give somebody who is thinking it's too late for me?
Yeah. Here's the what's now. There is never an age or skill level when your body will not respond to the positive stress you put on it. It doesn't matter if you're a 90-year-old person living in a nursing home and you're doing chair exercises, or you're a 35-year-old just hitting in your head that, oh my God, I've got in front of this. Your body will respond. It's what we're made to do. The more positive stress you put on it, the more it will recover. And that's why now all over the internet is popping up these examples of women in their 70s and 80s lifting weights, doing pull-ups. Oh my God, pull-ups, right? Being in races, because people often say to me, I want to age normally. Okay. Well, you know what normal to your body is? Being active. What's not abnormal is sitting like a mushroom, because here's how I know that. If normal for a human being was sitting around, nature is very conservative. We would not have our strongest muscles below our belly buttons. We would be shaped like a mushroom with a big giant stalk that held us to the ground. That is not how we're made. Our strongest muscles are below our belly button. So normal is mobility. What's abnormal is sedentary living.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. This is incredible. And I just love that you're spreading this message everywhere. So I had a couple of fun questions I wanted to just ask you. One was that if you had an Unbreakable anthem, what would that be?
An Unbreakable anthem?
Anthem, yeah. Or a motto. You be shouting.
Oh. I think Unbreakable is an anthem unto itself, isn't it?
Yes.
I think all you have to say is, I'm unbreakable. Try it. I'm unbreakable. Whether we're talking mentally or physically, just try it. I'm unbreakable, right?
Love it. Yeah, so I think that could be your social media. I'm unbreakable, everybody.
Yeah, everybody will wear that.
Now, this next phrase I was going to ask you to finish, I did have, I'm 85, but when I realized that you're definitely heading past 95, I thought maybe it's better to say, I'm at 95, and how will you
do what I want when I want and not ask your permission.
Fantastic. So what is one health myth that you would bin if you could?
A health myth that I would eliminate, and it's what I've been trying to do my entire career. My career motto has been, I'm going to change the way we age, right? And so a health myth that I've also been working my whole career to dispel is that aging is an inevitable decline from vitality to frailty, and that there's nothing you can do about it.
Thank you. Is there a tiny habit with a huge payoff that you can recommend?
There's so many tiny habits. Learn to lift weights. Stop eating granular sugar. Get your carbs from fiber. But you know what? Something that I don't often talk about, if there's one tiny habit, is find 3, 4, 5 really close friends who believe like you do that you can age in a different way, because sometimes changing our health means we have to change our environment, even down to our relationships. So it's better if you do it together. So let's find those 5 friends that are going to support you, so that you're that funny group of old ladies at 97 that do what they want when they want it.
Brilliant. And if bones could text the brain, what would they say? What would that text message be?
They'd say, hey, brilliant, I've got you. I'm going to help you build some brain cells. They say, I've got you.
Fantastic. And if you had a megaphone, which you do, but every adult on the planet could hear, and you had like 30 seconds to deliver one message, what would that message be?
My message, which gets at the heart and soul of taking care of yourself, is that you are worth the daily investment in your health. Because without that belief that you are worth it, nothing else matters.
Oh, thank you so much. I think that on that note, that is such a beautiful note. I just really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Vonda. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you. Bye-bye.